Chapter 387. Louis did not even blink as he continued, "Demon God, with my help, this formation will definitely succeed." "Why are you helping the demon clan?" the demon god asked curiously. Louis revealed a smile and said, "This world should allow stronger people to exist, it shouldn't be like this." The demon god frowned and said, "Oh, when the time comes the demon clan will start a massacre. Don't tell me you don't have any psychological burden at all? Those who achieve great things do not care about small matters. Furthermore, didn't wuxia have a saying, a small amount is not a gentleman, a poison is not a man?" Hearing this, the demon god laughed out loud. "That's right, kid, you are the most interesting person I have ever seen in this world. However, I want to tell you, even without you, I can still complete the mountain river blood sacrifice formation." "That might not be the case. After all, this is not the ancient times. How can it be easy for you to gather so many people? Any further delay would be a huge waste of time for the demon clan." Louis retorted. The demon god's heart moved. Without a doubt, Louis's method had moved him. He came to this world with a heavy responsibility on his shoulders, but until now, his progress had stagnated, causing him to be very depressed. Originally, he wanted to use Long Tingyu's power to set up this formation, but before he could tell Aprohui, Louis had already come knocking on his door. This truly shocked him. He did not need to think to understand that Louis was definitely doing this for the sake of sharing a greater benefit when the demon clan arrived in the future. That little benefit was not the focus of the demon god. As long as the demon clan arrived in this world first, then all sacrifices would be enough to make up for it. Although Long Tingyu did not know what the mountain river blood sacrifice formation was, he could clearly see that the demon god was moved. That way Louis would not die. He turned pale with fright and immediately shouted, "Demon god, I can do what he can do, and the Long family is blessed by the heavens. I will definitely be able to meet your requirements and satisfy you." Louis laughed disdainfully. "Do you know what the mountain river blood sacrifice formation is? Do you know what to pay attention to?" "Ridiculous." Long Tingyu's face alternated between red and white and said, "What does a foreigner like you know? Godfiend, don't listen to his nonsense. Foreigners are all very cunning." "Cunning? Aha, in the face of absolute power, cunning is seeking death," the demon god said confidently. Louis agreed. The demonic god is right. Moreover, I have a sincere heart. I truly want the demon race to descend into this world and build a new and more powerful world. Long Tingyu was speechless. Louis's aura had completely suppressed him. He was at a loss for what to do. The demon god's gaze swept across the two of them and finally said, "In that case, Long Tingyu, your mission has been completed." Long Tingyu's expression changed greatly as he shouted in panic, "Demon god, what do you mean by that?" Louis smiled proudly. "You still don't understand? You have completed your mission, so of course you should die. Otherwise, if you reveal the secret of the demon god, that would not be good." Long Tingyu glared at Louis with resentment, then looked at the demon god. Immediately, he saw that the demon god was expressionless, and did not have any intention of refuting Louis. Long Tingyu immediately revealed a look of fear and shouted, "Master, I am your servant, don't listen to this foreigner's nonsense." At the critical moment, Long Tingyu finally called him master. Originally, he called him demon god in front of outsiders, but now, in order to survive, he had to call him master. Back then, he and Sawada Ichiro were planted with the soul-devouring seal by the demon god and taken in as servants. However, he did not expect the demon god to turn hostile so quickly. The demon god was indifferent. He did not want Long Tingyu to die, but to test Louis he did not speak. From this short contact, whether it was strategy or knowledge, Louis was obviously superior to Long Tingyu, so the demon god also had the intention to subdue him. This was to test him on purpose so that he could understand him more clearly. Louis moved, a black shadow flashed and blocked Long Tingyu's path. Scram! Long Tingyu roared, a gun appeared in his hand, he aimed at Louis and pulled the trigger. Bang! The bullet whistled, but it flew past Louis's cheek. In the blink of an eye, Long Tingyu no longer had the chance to fire a second shot. Louis grabbed onto Long Tingyu and with a twist, Long Tingyu immediately soared into the air, his body spinning. In addition, Louis also grabbed onto the pistol, and with a creak, the barrel of the gun was twisted. Long Tingyu's expression changed greatly. He finally used all his strength to break free from Louis's grasp, and quickly retreated, shouting angrily, "This is Dianan, the territory of the Long family. If you kill me, you will definitely not have a good ending." "Who knows I killed you?" Louis said disdainfully, his body like lightning, pouncing towards Long Tingyu again. From the brief exchange just now, Long Tingyu had already understood that he was not Louis's opponent, and there was also an unfathomable demon god. He had no chance to escape. He had not expected all of this to happen. He had never expected that the demonic god would try to kill him. He was unwilling, but he did not accept his fate. He quickly retreated, but Louis was faster than him and was about to catch him. Suddenly, Long Tingyu's eyes lit up when he saw the two figures in the corner, and his eyes immediately widened. He had never looked forward to seeing Tang Jing so much, and felt that this face was so kind. He had already learned from Xiao Xiaoling what Tang Jing had said, and was originally very angry, but all of this he was not angry, only glad. Tang Jing. Long Tingyu shouted without hesitation. Tang Jing and Li Xiaotian hid in the corner and restrained their auras. They were originally prepared to watch a good show, and this was indeed a good show. Internal strife. However, they did not expect that Long Tingyu would actually retreat at lightning speed and discover their whereabouts. Hearing Long Tingyu's roar, the two of them wanted to retreat quietly, but it was too late. When Louis heard the two words Tang Jing, his eyes were like lightning as he shot towards the corner. Sure enough, he saw the two of them. He was overwhelmed with shock. His plot with the demon god had actually been broken by them. This time he was in big trouble. He absolutely could not let these two escape. Thus he directly abandoned Long Tingyu and attacked Tang Jing. Tang Jing growled and attacked with lightning speed. Immediately, the two of them exchanged dozens of blows and then quickly retreated. The two of them looked at each other in surprise. Tang Jing knew his own strength very well, but in this short exchange of blows, Louis did not fall into a disadvantageous position. Louis also frowned as he stared at Tang Jing. He thought to himself, no wonder Mutu would die in his hands after transforming. This person's strength was not simple. Long Tingyu regarded Tang Jing as his saviors and hurriedly hid beside him, trembling with fear. It's the two of you again. The demon god looked at the two people in front of him with a surprised expression. Immediately, his face was replaced by anger. Demon god, you actually have such a despicable plan. You want to use so many people's lives as the price to let the demon clan descend. Tang Jing said with righteous indignation. And you, Louis, your true face has finally been revealed. You used to pretend to be so polite, but it turns out that you are actually so cold-blooded. Louis said disdainfully, cold-blooded? This is a world where the strong preys on the weak. Without strength, wanting to survive is an extravagant hope. Moreover, with the demon clan in charge of this world will regain its glory. I think that's the glory of your Rockefeller family. It was exchanged for by currying favor with the demon clan. Haha, as long as the family can become strong, is the process that important? What I care about is the result. Louis said bluntly. The two of you are courting death, which saves me the trouble of finding you. Back then in the capital I let you escape. This time I want to see who can save you. The demon god said proudly. Tang Jing and Li Xiaotian looked at each other. Li Xiaotian shrugged his shoulders indifferently and said, What's the use of looking at me? Let's do it. If we don't fight, how can they let us go? Okay, then let's fight to our heart's content. Tang Jing said without fear. The demon god did not make a move at all. Instead, he hugged his shoulders and said, Louis, Long Tingyu, kill the two of them. Long Tingyu hesitated and said, Master, if you want to kill me, why should I help you? Brainless fellow, if I want to kill you, do you still need Louis to do it? As long as I activate the soul-devouring seal, you will immediately fall to the ground and die. There's no need to go through so much trouble. The demon god coldly snorted. Long Tingyu felt as if he had just woken up from a dream. That's right, if the demon god wanted to kill him, he only needed to think about it. How could it be so troublesome? In other words, he did not need to die. Long Tingyu was overjoyed. He walked back from the brink of death, and without saying a word, he immediately attacked Tang Jing fiercely, roaring, Tang Jing, today is the day you die. I want to see who will support that woman Mu Hongyan after you die. Louis's movements were also very fast. In the blink of an eye, Long Tingyu and Louis joined hands to attack, and they even had a tacit understanding of each other. So. Two figures pounced forward. Li Xiaotian actually took the lead and directly faced Louis, shouting, I've been looking for you for so long, how can I not test your skills? The two of them had already fought several times, and every time Long Tingyu would suffer a great loss. However, this time, with the support of the demon god, Long Tingyu was extremely confident. Even if he was not a match for him, the demon god would be able to help him out. In an instant, the few of them were locked in battle. Their figures flickered, and all that was left in the room were afterimages. Bang! Suddenly, Long Tingyu flew backwards and crashed into the wall, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Long Tingyu turned pale with fright and shouted, Master, save me. The moment he shouted, the demon god also moved. However, Tang Zheng's speed was even faster than him. With a flash of black light, a sword appeared in his hand, the War Soul Sword. So, the War Soul Sword flew out of his hand. Chapter 388. Long Tingyu looked at the sword on his chest in disbelief. He did not expect that with the protection of the demon god, he would still be struck by the sword. Furthermore, this was a fatal strike. The War Soul Sword pierced into his heart, causing him to feel his heartbeat rapidly weakening. The reason why Tang Zheng decisively took out the War Soul Sword was because this was a life-and-death situation. If he did not resist with all his might, he would definitely die. That was why he unhesitatingly took the risk of exposing his identity as a cultivator and used this move. The effect was very good. No one expected this unforeseen event. The demon god's rescue was too late, and Long Tingyu's life force was completely cut off by this sword strike. He would not be merciful to this kind of person who was willing to sacrifice the lives of countless people to serve the demon god. Moreover, the two sides had old enmity. Just based on what he had done to Mu Hongyan and Nana, he deserved to die. The demon god was startled for a moment. He stared at the War Soul Sword, then shifted his gaze to Tang Zheng and roared, "So it's you." The demon god had a deep impression of this sword. When he first came to this world, it was because of the owner of this sword that he was heavily injured and had no choice but to flee in a sorry state. Now he finally saw the other party's true appearance. So this person had always been on his body. Tang Zheng, this brat was actually that cultivator. I will tear you into 10,000 pieces. The demon god roared in rage. His hair and beard were all fluttering in the wind, while his clothes fluttered in the wind. A bloody light flashed in his eyes, his killing intent soared, and his face became extremely sinister. Lewis and Wales were also shocked. This was completely out of their expectations. This Tang Zheng was actually a cultivator. When Li Xiaotian saw that Tang Zheng had exposed her identity, she already understood that today was a life-and-death battle, and could not be careless in the slightest. Tang Zheng waved his hand, and the War Soul Sword flew back into his hand. Long Tingyu slid softly from the wall to the ground, and no longer had any breath. Demon God, I will definitely stop your demon clan from descending into this world. Tang Zheng pointed the War Soul Sword in his hand at the demon god and said firmly, "Haha, no one can stop the demon race. You hid your identity before, but now that you've been exposed, let's see how you're going to hide. Besides, do you think you can walk out of this door today?" As soon as he finished speaking, the demon god moved. With a flash of blood-red light, the blood blade pierced through the air, heading straight for Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng brandished his War Soul Sword and quickly fought with the demon god. The two of them had already fought several times and understood each other's moves. But this time, both of them felt that their cultivation had increased. Tang Zheng, because of the effect of the spirit transformation pill, was a blessing in disguise. He was already at the second level of Anidia. However, it was obvious that during this period of time, Long Tingyu had found many martial warriors for the demon god to suck dry his blood, allowing him to quickly recover his cultivation. The destructive power of the battle between the two was obviously a level higher than that of Li Xiaotian and Lewis. In an instant, a strong wind blew in the room, causing rocks to fly everywhere. It was a complete mess. Tang Zheng, I told you before, you haven't learned all the sword moves of the heaven-flying immortal. You're not my match at all. The demon god said proudly. Tang Zheng clenched his teeth and quickly activated his true essence, immediately activating the heaven-flying immortal sword technique. The wind rose and the clouds surged, and the sword broke through 10,000 caddies. When these two moves were used in an instant, the entire space was enveloped by a dense sword intent. However, the demon god was unmoved. Instead, he laughed disdainfully. I've already experienced these two moves before. Do you think you can still hurt me? Tang Zheng snorted and ignored him. With a swoosh, the War Soul Sword seemed to have the power of 1,000 caddies as it fiercely slashed down. Clang. The blood blade met the War Soul Sword. The War Soul Sword suddenly paused, then fiercely slashed onto the floor. Kacha, the floor cracked open and a huge crack appeared. Haha, Tang Zheng, prepare to die. The demon god leaped into the air, directly passing through the War Soul Sword and charging towards Tang Zheng. The blood blade flickered with a bloody light, emitting an aura of death. The corner of Tang Zheng's mouth curled up slightly and he shouted, "Lightning Fire Sword." The War Soul Sword that was inserted into the floor suddenly struggled free, releasing an ear-piercing scream. In the next second, it had already appeared on the demon god's back. The Lightning Fire Sword was fast and unexpected, and Tang Zheng's current move was completely out of the demon god's expectations. The demon god wanted to dodge, but it was too late. His expression suddenly changed as he roared, "Tang Zheng, I will kill you." Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The blood blade soared into the sky and floated above his head, sprinkling down a bloody light that completely wrapped him up. Clang. The war soul sword slashed onto the blood light, causing it to tremble. In the end, with a kacha sound, the blood light shattered into pieces, causing the demon god to stagger and almost fall to the ground. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the demon god suffered such a huge loss. His face was ashen, like a malicious spirit, and the anger in his eyes seemed to be about to spew out. Brr. The demon god roared as his body expanded. In the blink of an eye, he grew to 3 meters tall like a giant. His entire body was shrouded in a layer of withering blood. Tang Zheng had never seen him transform like this before and could not help but be flabbergasted. But what was more direct was the powerful aura. The demon god did not use the blood blade to attack again. Instead, he grabbed the war soul sword with his big hand. "Tang Zheng, I'll destroy your sword first. Let's see how you can still use the heaven-flying immortal sword technique." The demon god shouted as he struck the war soul sword with his palm. The war soul sword trembled violently and let out a miserable cry. Tang Zheng had a special connection with the war soul sword, so he immediately felt what the war soul sword was going through. The war soul sword was already damaged, so if the demon god continued, it would probably be like the dragon trapping rope, directly crippled. As Li Xiaotian and Louis fought, they also clearly saw the battle between the two of them. They were all deeply shocked, especially Li Xiaotian. She knew very well that Tang Zheng's strength was not as good as hers, but now, the strength that Tang Zheng had displayed had completely surpassed her. Isn't this cultivation speed too fast? Louis's forehead wrinkled into a Xuan character, realizing that he had still underestimated Tang Zheng. The demon god laughed complacently, "Take another palm of mine." The iron palm descended, striking straight at the war soul sword. With this palm, the war soul sword would definitely be crippled. "Stop!" Tang Zheng shouted loudly. The heaven-shocking bow was already in his hands. He pulled the bowstring, his fingers loosened, and a formless arrow shot towards the demon god. Tang Zheng instantly realized that the power of this arrow was much stronger than before. It was obvious that the stronger his cultivation was, the more powerful the arrow shot out by the heaven-shocking bow would be. When the demon god saw the heaven-shocking bow, he immediately thought of the scene where he was struck by the heaven-shocking bow's arrow in the valley, causing his body to explode and he almost died. The demon god immediately dodged, and with a boom the formless arrow hit the wall, and with a boom half of the wall collapsed. After the war soul sword escaped, Tang Zheng waved his hand and it flew back into his sumaru bag. When Li Xiaotian saw the heaven-shocking bow, his eyes lit up and he shouted, "Tang Zheng, I knew that the heaven-shocking bow was in your hands and I was right. Let's see how you can quibble now. I really didn't expect this bow to be able to shoot without arrows." Heaven-shocking bow, this is the heaven-shocking bow. When the demon god heard this name, his face turned pale with fright. His eyes stared straight at the heaven-shocking bow, emitting a greedy light. "You know about the heaven-shocking bow?" Tang Zheng was extremely surprised. Back then, even Tian Chanzi was not clear about the heaven-shocking bow's name, and the demon god did not recognize the heaven-shocking bow either. However, when he heard the name, he actually had such a huge reaction, so he definitely knew about the heaven-shocking bow. To be honest, Tang Zheng was also very curious about the origins of the heaven-shocking bow. This divine bow was truly too miraculous. No wonder this divine bow's power is so extraordinary. It's actually the weapon of the ancient era's martial monarch, Hou-Yi. Back then, Hou-Yi used the heaven-shocking bow to shoot down the golden crow and save the world from water and fire. The demon god was still immersed in great shock. Hou-Yi used this heaven-shocking bow to shoot down the sun? Tang Zheng and Li Xiaotian were both shocked. The legend of Hou-Yi shooting down the sun had been passed down for a long time, and it was said that there were 10 suns in the sky in the ancient era, and these suns were all transformed from golden crows. People could not withstand the high temperature, and in the end a warrior, Hou-Yi, shot down 9 golden crows that transformed into suns, saving the common people. It was just that there was no introduction to the sun-shooting weapon in the legends. He never thought that it would actually be this heaven-shocking bow. Tang Zheng could not help but caress the heaven-shocking bow, as if he could still travel through time and space, and feel that soul-stirring period. "Tang Zheng, where did you get this heaven-shocking bow?" The demon god's eyes turned cold. The heaven-shocking bow had been lost for who knows how many years. He never thought that it would appear in the hands of this young man. "How could I possibly tell you such a huge secret?" Tang Zheng said. Since the heaven-shocking bow was so extraordinary, then the prehistoric heavenly tomb was even more mysterious. He definitely could not tell the other party. If you don't want to say it, then go to hell. I must obtain the heaven-shocking bow. Let me tell you, Tang Jing, back then the martial empress used two weapons to shoot the sun. Other than the heaven-shocking bow, there are also the sun-shooting arrows. Once I gather these two weapons, my strength will increase explosively. Ah, you gave me such good news before you died, I really have to thank you. The demon god laughed. The heaven-shocking bow is mine, no one can touch it. Li Xiaotian shouted loudly. He immediately gave up on Louis and rushed to Tang Jing's side, looking at the heaven-shocking bow with covetous eyes, but did not immediately snatch it away. Tang Jing, let's see how you're going to act shamelessly now. Li Xiaotian clenched his teeth and said. Let's deal with these people first. Tang Jing said. The two of you are courting death, then I'll fulfill your wish. I must obtain the heaven-shocking bow, go and die. The demon god roared, a gust of wind blew around his body, and the blood mist immediately spread out. Be careful of this blood mist. Tang Jing reminded. Li Xiaotian immediately held his breath, while Louis and Wales immediately retreated to the door of the room, avoiding the blood mist. Haha, little girl, you're not a cultivator and you want to avoid my devil blood soul devouring technique? Dream on. The demon god laughed complacently. Chapter 389. What's wrong with me? Li Xiaotian cried out in alarm. Don't move. You've been struck by his demon blood soul devouring technique. In the end, your soul will scatter and you will die. Tang Jing stopped her. My soul will scatter? Li Xiaotian was the holy maiden of Li Palace, but she was also a person who was afraid of death. She immediately shouted, Tang Jing, save me. Ah, let's see how you save her. The demon god waved his blood blade, causing it to shine brightly. In an instant, it turned from a small dagger into a large blade, slashing towards Tang Jing. Tang Jing shot out 3 arrows in a row. Whoosh 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 whoosh, the invisible arrows shot out in a triangle shape. Clang clang clang. The demon god waved his blood blade and blocked the 3 arrows in a row. The light on the blood blade swayed incessantly, as if it could collapse at any time. Ah, Tang Jing, I've already recovered 90% of my power. How could you possibly be my match? The demon god said proudly. Tang Jing was overwhelmed with shock. Previously, he could still rely on the power of the heaven-shocking bow to force the demon god to retreat, but now that the demon god had recovered 90% of his power, he was already a little overwhelmed. Then what is your cultivation level? Tang Jing asked. There's no harm in telling you. Gold Core Stage 7. When I recover all of my power, I will reach Gold Core Stage 9. Then I will be invincible, ha ha ha. The demon god was actually a 7th-stage gold core, and after Xianxia returned to the sun he was only a 5th-stage gold core. Didn't that mean that he was even stronger than Xianxia now? As for himself, he was only at the 2nd level of Anidia, far from the 7th level of gold core. No matter how powerful the heaven-shocking bow was, it would not be able to make up for this gap. Tang Jing immediately understood this point, and felt bitter in his heart. He did not know how many warriors Long Tingyu had found for him to recover his cultivation so quickly. Let's retreat. There's no way we can win this battle. Tang Jing had the thought of retreating. Even though it was very dangerous for him to reveal his identity, he had no way of getting rid of everyone present in order to prevent future troubles. It could only be said that the weather was unpredictable. Man proposes but God disposes. He didn't expect that this time he would discover a huge conspiracy, but it also caused him to fall into a huge trouble. My cultivation must make a huge leap in this trip to the 100,000 mountains. Only then can I guarantee my safety when I return to the secular world. Tang Jing made up his mind and hugged Li Xiaotian. With her soft body in his arms, the two of them quickly retreated. You want to escape? In your dreams, leave behind your life and the heaven-shocking bow. The demon god waved his blood blade and chased after him fiercely. Boom. Tang Jing slammed his palm on the wall behind him. His Jin Qi pulsated, and with a rumbling sound, stone chips flew everywhere. The wall seemed to have cracked and a huge crack appeared on it. Boom. The load-bearing wall of the villa collapsed, and the villa was unable to support itself. It collapsed with a loud bang, and a huge ruin fell from the sky and landed in front of the demon god, blocking his line of sight. The demon god was furious and shouted for him not to run, but the entire villa collapsed in an instant. He had no way to stop it, let alone chase after Tang Jing. A huge rock fell from the sky and smashed towards the demon god's head. The demon god immediately waved his blood blade in the air. Kacha, the debris above his head all dodged, and with a tap of his foot, he soared into the sky. Boom. The entire villa instantly turned into ruins, and only 3 people were still standing. They were the demon god Louis and Wales. Tang Zheng and Li Xiaotian were nowhere to be found. Damn it, they actually escaped. The demon god was furious, he was unwilling to give up. He turned his gaze and immediately locked onto Louis and the other two and said, "Why aren't you guys leaving?" Louis said calmly, "I am going to cooperate with you, how can I leave?" "Brat, I don't know what you're planning, but I want to tell you, if you play tricks in front of me, you will die miserably." The demon god threatened. "Demon god, when did I ever play tricks with you? I sincerely want to cooperate with you and create a new world." Louis said solemnly. To create a new world, you should wait until I deal with that stinking brat Tang Zheng and obtain the heaven-shocking bow." The demon god said. Louis said proudly, "Demon god, why would you need to do anything to deal with him? Since his identity has been exposed, there will be countless people who will deal with him. It would be better for us to hurry up and set up the mountain river blood sacrifice array." "What do you know?" The demon god said unhappily. Louis was not clear about the demon god's thoughts. It was true that the demon god wanted the demon clan to descend into this world, but compared to this grand goal, he wanted to obtain the heaven-shocking bow more. The heaven-shocking bow was simply too powerful. With the heaven-shocking bow and then finding the shooting sun arrows, even if he was only at the 9th stage of the Jindan stage, he would be able to contend against the experts of the Yuanying stage. The demon god knew very well that when the demon clan descended on a large scale in the future, there would be more and more experts in this world. As for him, he would be submerged in the vast sea of people and become extremely ordinary. He had to seize this opportunity to make himself as strong as possible. Louis was taught a lesson, but he was not angry because with Long Tingyu dead, the demon god could only cooperate with him if he wanted to set up the mountain river blood sacrifice array. "Demon god, what should we do next?" "Find Tang Zheng for me. We must find him." The demon god said firmly. "Yes, he won't be able to fly even if he has wings." Louis was full of confidence and thought to himself, "Tang Zheng, I didn't expect you to be a cultivator. I believe that the martial sect will definitely be interested in this news, haha, as long as you die, Xianxia will be mine." Not long after, an explosive piece of news came out from Dianan. Long Tingyu was killed and it was at his own residence. In the end, even the house was turned into ruins, causing people to guess that it was as if it had been attacked by a bomb. Long Xuanhuan stood at the edge of the ruins, looking at his subordinates busily cleaning up the ruins. His face was extremely gloomy. During this period of time, the Long family had encountered too many unforeseen events, showing that Mu Hongyan had colluded with the people of the island nation to betray the interests of the family. When Long Xuanhuan first received this news, he was extremely shocked and furious. Mu Hongyan was expelled from the Long family, and Long Xuanhuan handed over most of the family business to Long Tingyu to manage. However, he did not expect that in just a few days Long Tingyu would actually be killed. "Master, young master has been found." His subordinate suddenly shouted, and a few people carried out Long Tingyu, who was buried in the ruins. Long Xuanhuan looked at his son's corpse, and his eyes immediately turned red, but they were instantly replaced by an overwhelming killing intent. "Do you know who did it?" Long Xuanhuan asked. "The information shows that a great battle happened here, and young master died at the hands of a person called Tang Zheng. In addition, there are a few people who are also related to this matter." His subordinate reported. The Long family was definitely the local tyrant of Dianan. Although almost everyone on the scene was dead, the Long family had figured out a little of the truth. "Tang Zheng?" Long Xuanhuan frowned, this person's name was too familiar. Why is he in Dianan? "I don't know." "Tingyu was really killed by him?" "Yes." "Find him, I want him to be buried with Tingyu," Long Xuanhuan said with killing intent. At the same time, the two elders received a mysterious message. Tang Zheng was a cultivator, and he was the mysterious cultivator who appeared when the demon god descended. This news was too explosive, the three of them immediately went south and chased after him. Furthermore, Martial had a secret mission, which was to find the person who wore the jade pendant. She did not expect that after brushing past him so many times, the other party had always been by her side. They also immediately confirmed that the third elder had most likely fallen into the hands of Tang Zheng. Therefore, new and old grudges were added together and they had to catch Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng returned to the hotel with Li Xiaotian, who had fallen into a coma, and happened to see Lu Ming. Lu Ming was dumbfounded as he watched Tang Zheng enter the room with a stunning beauty in his arms. Suddenly he was shocked, angry and happy. "This time he finally caught your pigtail again. Let's see how Professor Qi will protect you this time." Just as Tang Zheng placed Li Xiaotian on the bed, Lu Ming rushed in and shouted righteously, "Tang Zheng, you beast, what are you doing?" Before Tang Zheng could reply, a white shadow pounced at Lu Ming. Lu Ming was so scared that he screamed and hurriedly retreated, knocking into the door and letting out a pitiful cry. He was battered and exhausted. This white shadow was of course Xiao Bai. Previously, Tang Zheng and Li Xiaotian went out to investigate the whereabouts of Louis. Because they were worried that it would run around and expose its whereabouts, they locked it in the room. At this moment, seeing Lu Mingqiao roar at Tang Zheng, and especially making things difficult for it at the airport, the new hatred added together, so of course it would be angry. Even if Xiao Bai did not spit fire, it was still very aggressive. It slammed into Lu Ming's stomach, and immediately, Lu Ming flew out of the room like a kite with a broken string, hitting the wall and fainting. Xiao Bai bared his teeth and called out proudly. He walked with his feet splayed out and swayed at the door a few times. Seeing that the other party was not moving, he closed the door. Tang Zheng was not in the mood to pay attention to Lu Ming, because Li Xiaoyan's situation was not optimistic. After the demon god's strength increased, the power of the demon blood soul devouring technique was not the same as before, and it actually caused Li Xiaotian to faint. Tang Zheng could feel a strange power swimming in her body. If it was not restrained, then she would most likely be in trouble. Originally, Tang Zheng wanted nothing more than to kill this burden, but now that things had come to a head, he was a little hesitant. Today was different from the past, his identity as a cultivator had been exposed, and the danger he would face in the future would be even greater. And Li Xiaoyan's death would not benefit him in any way. Moreover, the two of them were at least companions, so it was not his style to leave him in the lurch. He glanced at the unconscious Li Xiaotian and muttered to himself, "You're lucky, I'll be merciful and save you this time." Tang Zheng cast a spell to heal Li Xiaotian, but there was a commotion outside the door. A member of the archaeological team discovered Lu Ming, and Lu Ming also woke up. Immediately he flew into a rage. He was actually bullied by Tang Zheng and his pet. This was truly a great humiliation. This was definitely a good opportunity to establish his might. He had to take this opportunity to kick this person out of the archaeological team and make Professor Qi speechless. Chapter 390. Outside the door, Qi Shaoan and the rest of the archaeological team had gathered. Lu Ming was indignantly complaining about Tang Zheng's beastly behavior. "This man is a disgrace to our archaeological team. How dare he carry a girl home with ill intentions? This is against the law and tarnishing the reputation of our archaeological team. This cannot be tolerated." Qi Shaoan frowned. He knew Tang Zheng well enough to know that he had no shortage of beautiful women around him. It was said that many of them were pursuing him. How could he do something so ridiculous? "Leader Lu, you can eat whatever you want but you can't say whatever you want," Qi Shaoan said in a low voice. Lu Ming said indignantly, "Professor Qi, do you think I'm lying? Of course we are very clear about your character, but your disciple is not like you. As for whether I'm lying or not, we'll know soon enough." As they spoke, Lu Ming saw that the person he sent to call the hotel manager had returned. The manager was with him. "Sir, someone is doing something bad to a girl in here. Open the door quickly or something big is going to happen," Lu Ming said. The hotel manager did not hesitate. He immediately took out his spare card and swiped it to open the door. Bang! Lu Ming took the lead and rushed in without a care for his own safety. He thought to himself, "Kid, this infinity, you're dead meat now. We've got solid evidence of your crime. Let's see how you're going to deny it." The others rushed in as well. How could they miss out on such a big piece of gossip? Qi Shaoan was fuming with rage. He rushed to the front of the group as well. He wanted to see if his disciple was as bad as Lu Ming had said he was. In an instant, this small room was filled with people. It was so crowded that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Everyone stretched their necks and looked at the bed, hoping to see a scene of sex. However, when they saw it clearly, everyone was stunned. There was no sex scene. The two of them were sitting upright on the chairs beside the bed, looking curiously at the group of people who rushed in. Tang Zheng's lips curled into a faint sneer. He had already helped Li Xiaotian dispel the strange power in her body. Her face was a little pale but she was fine. Tang Zheng's ears were sharp, so of course he heard the quarrel outside the door. He immediately guessed Lu Ming's sinister intentions, so after he cured Li Xiaotian, he didn't rush out to refute the rumors. Instead, he sat upright on the chair, waiting for this group of people to come in and watch a good show. Lu Ming looked at the two people who were sitting upright in disbelief. Wasn't that beauty already unconscious? And Tang Zheng looked like an impatient pervert. How come nothing happened between the two of them in the blink of an eye? Tang Zheng looked at Lu Ming mockingly and pretended not to know anything. "Hey, why did so many of you rush in?" Shwa. Everyone's eyes focused on Lu Ming. Lu Ming's face flushed red. He clenched his teeth and braced himself to ask, Tang Jing, you just carried this girl in. Are you going to do something bad? Oh, I'm going to do something bad? Which eye of yours saw me do something bad? Tang Jing slowly stood up and asked with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Both of my eyes saw it. Don't tell me you still want to deny it? Miss, you don't have to be afraid. Today so many of us are here to help you. We should expose the sinister face of this kind of person. Lu Ming urged Li Xiaotian. Li Xiaotian also stood up. How could someone as smart as her not know what was going on? She immediately smiled and said, "You're here to save me?" "Yes, I'm here to save you. Miss, quickly come over." Lu Ming was overjoyed. Seeing that Li Xiaotian was a little moved, he hurriedly said, "I'll protect you. No one can hurt you." He was overjoyed. If he could win the girl's favor and have a romantic relationship with such a beauty, it would be a wonderful thing in life. Everyone's eyes widened when they saw this scene. Xuanhuan especially cared about Tang Jing. He asked, "Tang Jing, tell me the truth. Did you do anything wrong to her?" Xuanhuan knew Li Xiaotian. She was the one who pointed out the authenticity of the painting of the 9 heavens. How could Xuanhuan forget? In fact, when he saw that Tang Jing was with Li Xiaotian, he was not so worried. Tang Jing smiled and said, "Leader Lu, didn't you say that I did?" "Yes, you did. I saw it all. Don't deny it," Lu Ming said solemnly. Then he turned to Li Xiaotian and urged, "Miss, tell me. I'll make the decision for you." Li Xiaotian had already arrived in front of Lu Ming. A burst of fragrant wind assaulted his face. Lu Ming was fascinated. He had never been so close to such a beautiful woman. His throat couldn't help but dry up. Everyone looked at Li Xiaotian. Li Xiaotian's face gradually darkened. It was as if a storm was coming. Slap. Suddenly there was a loud slap. Lu Ming spun like a top and almost fell to the ground. He was in a sorry state and there were a few fingerprints on his face. "You're the miss. Your whole family are misses. You brought so many people and swore that Tang Jing did something to me. Are you trying to ruin my reputation? You're lucky that I didn't beat you to death. Get lost." Li Xiaotian shouted angrily. The beauty changed her face faster than the weather. The audience was stunned. What was going on? Why did she hit Lu Ming? Lu Ming was also stunned. His beautiful fantasy was immediately shattered. He felt a burning pain on his face. He felt that he had lost all his face. "Why did you hit me?" "I hit you. I'm friends with Tang Jing. You slandered me and him. If I don't hit you, who should I hit?" Li Xiaotian raised her hand and was about to hit him again. Lu Ming quickly stepped back and dodged the slap. He was in a daze. The audience suddenly realized that all of this was made up out of nothing by Lu Ming. The others were friends and there was no such thing as a mess. And he deliberately slandered Tang Jing. His heart was too narrow-minded. Everyone thought of the incident at the airport. They guessed that Lu Ming was deliberately making trouble to ruin Tang Jing's reputation. That was too despicable. Xuanhuan heaved a sigh of relief. However, he was also angry. Lu Ming repeatedly made things difficult for Tang Jing. That was the same as making things difficult for him. "If a tiger doesn't show its power, do you think I'm a sick cat?" Xuanhuan said in a deep voice. "Leader Lu, you're making trouble out of nothing and ruining someone else's reputation. What are you up to? I seriously doubt that the archaeology team can achieve good results under your leadership." Facing Xuanhuan's questioning, Lu Ming panicked. He hurriedly explained, "Professor Qi, this is all a misunderstanding. I must have been seeing things. I must have been seeing things." He reacted quickly. He no longer cared about Tang Jing and Li Xiaotian. He wanted to appease Xuanhuan's anger. "Seeing things? I'm so old but I'm not seeing things. You're so young but you're seeing things. You're really something," Xuanhuan said sarcastically. Lu Ming nodded quickly. "Professor Qi, you're old but vigorous. How can I be compared to you? Don't worry, there won't be a next time. Everyone please leave. Don't disturb Tang Jing." After saying that, he took the lead and walked out quickly, running away with his tail between his legs. Phew. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally escaped from the archaeology team. He waved at one of the soldiers and ordered, "Keep an eye on Tang Jing. Report to me immediately if he does anything." These soldiers were all under his command. He had the right to order them around. "Tang Jing, wait until we enter the 10,000 huge mountains tomorrow. I want to see how you can be so arrogant. I will return it to you 1,000 times over and let you know the serious consequences of offending me. And that woman, she actually dared to hit me. Since I was young, no one has ever dared to hit me. No matter who you are finished." Lu Ming's eyes seemed to be able to spit fire as he gnashed his teeth and muttered to himself. Only Tang Jing, Li Xiaotian, and Xuanhuan were left in Tang Jing's room. Professor Qi, I'm sorry to have made you worry, said Tang Jing. Qi Shaoan waved his hand and said, it's all Lu Ming's fault. He's narrow-minded. It seems that it was a huge mistake for the higher-ups to send him to lead the team. After a pause, he asked Li Xiaodan, why are you in Dianan? I have something to do. Qi Shaoan already knew that she was not a student of Yenqing University. It was inappropriate for him to ask more questions. He nodded and said, I'll leave first. We'll enter the 100,000 hills tomorrow. Tang Jing, you should rest early. Li Xiaoyan's eyes lit up when she heard that. However, a trace of suspicion flashed across her eyes. After Qi Shaoan left, she quickly asked, you're going to enter the 100,000 hills? Yes. What for? Archaeology. Didn't you see such a large archaeology team? Did someone discover the primitive heavenly tomb? Li Xiaotian asked curiously. How is that possible? It's just routine archaeology, Tang Jing said perfunctorily. Humph, you must be hiding something from me, right? Li Xiaotian asked. Tang Jing said sternly, how is that possible? Don't let your imagination run wild. Li Xiaotian stared at him with a burning gaze, his heart moved. Tang Jing's mouth was harder than granite, it was easier said than done to pry open his mouth. It's fine if you don't say it, I naturally have a way to find out what you guys are up to. Tang Jing, can you return the heaven-shocking bow to me now? Li Xiaotian extended his hand and said with a smile that was not a smile. Look for it. If you find it, it's yours. Tang Jing shrugged his shoulders, of course he would not give it to the other party. Now that he understood the power of the heaven-shocking bow, how could he give it away? You. Shameless, I saw it with my own eyes, the heaven-shocking bow is in your hands, do you still want to deny it? Li Xiaotian was furious. I'm not denying it. If you have the ability, then find it. Otherwise, it means that this thing is not fated with you, so don't force it. What's more, I just saved your life. Is this how you repay your savior? Shouldn't you repay the favor of saving your life with your body? Tang Jing said in ridicule. Promise your head. Li Xiaotian opened her eyes wide in anger, gasping for breath, thinking that he was really the one who saved her just now. It would be a bit unrighteous to turn hostile like this, and the other party was a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water, she could not do anything to him. Chapter 391. Li Xiaotian compromised and no longer pursued the matter of the heaven-shocking bow, and said, Tang Jing, your identity as a cultivator has already been exposed, aren't you afraid? What's the use of being afraid? Tang Jing asked back. Yes, I'm afraid it won't solve the problem. Moreover, the demon god has such a huge plan, and cultivators will step onto the stage sooner or later. At that time, everyone will know of your existence, and the martial sect will not have the time to deal with you. Li Xiaotian laughed. Tang Jing's heart moved and he said, that's right, since the martial sect hates cultivators to the bones, then we should tell them the whereabouts of the demon god, and let them bite each other to see who will survive in the end. I'll leave the task of passing the message to you. You're really smart. Now that the demon god is entangled with the martial sect, he won't have the time to pay attention to you. Tang Jing did not comment, but he knew in his heart that this was not the case. The demon god was already at the 7th stage of the gold core stage, which was equivalent to the 7th stage of the great master stage. In this world, there were probably people who could match him, and even the martial great master stage would not be able to do so. However, this was not his main focus. His top priority right now was to enter the 10,000 huge mountains. As long as he entered the 10,000 huge mountains, even if the demon god and the martial sect wanted to deal with him, it would not be an easy task. What are your plans next? Li Xiaotian asked. Tang Jing shrugged his shoulders and said indifferently, soldiers will block, water will cover the earth. Alright, then I'll wait and see. I'll be leaving first. Li Xiaotian waved his hand and left. Early in the morning, the archaeological team was ready to set off, and the large group directly headed towards the 10,000 huge mountains. When they left the city, a group of people came to the hotel they were staying at, and immediately checked Tang Jing's check-in records. However, it was still too late. When the news reached the Long family, Long Xuanhuan flew into a rage and immediately sent a group of people to chase after the archaeological team. If he let the other party escape in Dianan's territory, then would he, Long Xuanhuan, still have face? At the same time, the demon god and Louis also received news of Tang Jing's archaeological team's movements. Both of them were very surprised, not knowing why they were going to the vast 10,000 mountains. Coincidentally, Sawada Ichiro had returned. Sawada Ichiro had originally come for his junior brother Yamamoto, so he had been tracking down Yamamoto's whereabouts for the past few days. In the end, he confirmed that he had also entered the 10,000 huge mountains. He was not clear about Yamamoto's true purpose, but since Yamamoto dared to take such a huge risk to enter the 10,000 huge mountains, then there must be something extremely important. The results of Lewis's investigation had also come out. It was said that this time, because of the discovery of the 4 stone monuments, the archaeological team had mobilized so many people and entered the 100,000 mountains regardless of the danger. Hearing that, Sawada Ichiro immediately guessed that Yamamoto was probably going to the ancient ruins, and the demon god was even more interested in the ancient ruins, so he wanted to go to the 10,000 huge mountains to investigate. Thus, the demon god's group of 4 also quickly entered the Grand Myriad Mountains. When the people from the martial sect arrived in Dianan, they were even a step too late. Their trip was not only for Tang Zheng but also for the demon god. They were prepared to capture the 2 of them in one fell swoop. As a result, they resolutely entered the 10,000 huge mountains. 3 groups of people entered the 10,000 huge mountains one after another. This mountain that had been silent for countless years gradually became lively, as if it had been awakened. The archaeological team carried a lot of supplies, because everyone knew that this was not a good place. In the past it had swallowed countless lives. The scorching sun was high in the sky, and the trees covered the sky, blocking most of the sunlight. Although it was winter, the mountains were still a little stuffy. There were no roads in the mountains, so these people could only walk. Fortunately, most of the people in the archaeological field had good physical fitness, so no one complained about being tired after crossing the mountains. Even Xuanhuan, who was already old, did not drag them down. However, there were always exceptions to everything, and Lu Ming was an exception. After crossing a hill, he was so tired that he called for a stop, saying that he would rest first before continuing. He was sweating profusely as if he was about to collapse. Everyone knew that he must be used to sitting in the office all the time, so his physical fitness was terrible. Otherwise he would not be so weak. They had no choice but to rest. A few soldiers stood guard outside the perimeter, while the others sat around drinking water and resting. Lu Ming let out a long sigh and asked, "How much longer will it take for us to arrive?" "Based on our current progress, it should take another 4 days to arrive," someone answered. "That's so far away. If we had known, we would have taken a helicopter. We wouldn't have to go through so much trouble," Lu Ming complained, obviously dissatisfied with the walking. "Take a helicopter?" Qi Shaoan smiled meaningfully, then closed his eyes to rest. The others also looked at Lu Ming with strange smiles. Tang Zheng was puzzled, not knowing why everyone had such a reaction. Lu Ming's suggestion was indeed a good idea. Lu Ming also felt the strange atmosphere, so he asked, "Is there a problem with my plan?" "Of course there's a problem. Don't you know that a plane crashed here a few years ago?" someone said. "What's wrong with that?" "Of course there's a problem. Let me tell you, the 100,000 mountains is a no-fly zone. All flying objects will be interfered with here, causing them to crash. This is a lesson learned with blood and tears. Don't you know?" Lu Ming's face fell. He did not know about this at all. Seeing that his plan was exposed, he snorted discontentedly and said, It's not that bad." It was indeed bad. Many people wanted to explore the vast 100,000 mountains in the past, but when they found that they could not travel on foot, they decided to use helicopters and other flying devices. However, several planes crashed in a row and countless people died. Only then did everyone realize that this area was too strange. There was some kind of force that interfered with flying devices. This method was not feasible at all. Hearing this, Tang Jing thought of the restriction. It was most likely caused by that restriction. However, now that the restriction was gone, he did not know if flying devices could fly over this area. Of course, Tang Jing would not tell anyone this secret. If these people knew that flying devices could fly over this area, it would be a big problem. After resting for half a day, the group restocked on food and set off again. When it was almost dark, they finally found a place to rest. They set up tents and started a fire to cook. Qi Shaoan put his hands on his hips and looked in the direction of their destination. His eyes narrowed slightly. Tang Jing walked over and asked, "Professor Qi, what are you looking at?" Qi Shaoan said without turning his head, "Tang Jing, don't you feel that this journey has been too smooth?" "Smooth?" Tang Jing was shocked. It was true. When he walked in the 100,000 hills before, he often encountered miasma. However, after walking for a day, he did not encounter any miasma at all. It was really strange. You haven't been to the 100,000 hills before, so you don't know how dangerous it is. For the archaeologists, this place is a place of great danger. Usually no one comes back. Miasma runs rampant and swamps are everywhere. Ferocious beasts are unscrupulous. Although we have encountered a few swamps this time, we did not encounter any ferocious beasts or miasma. Don't you think it's strange? Xuanhuan asked worriedly. Tang Jing thought about it and agreed. However, he could not explain it. He could only comfort Xuanhuan by saying, "We should be glad that we didn't encounter any miasma. Otherwise we would be in big trouble." Xuanhuan nodded and his expression relaxed a little. He said, "Tang Jing, I put you in danger by bringing you here. Please don't blame me." "Ah, why would I blame you? This is a rare opportunity. I couldn't ask for more," Tang Jing said. Xuanhuan patted him on the shoulder with relief. It was late at night and most people had gone to bed. Only a few groups of soldiers took turns to stand guard. Tang Jing fell asleep in a daze. Suddenly he felt something on his face. He opened his eyes and found that Xiaobai had woken up and was winking at him. "Xiaobai, what's wrong?" Tang Jing asked curiously. Xiaobai squeaked and pointed outside the tent. Tang Jing thought about it and quickly hugged him in his arms. He said, "They're here?" Xiaobai nodded. "Well, let's go." Tang Jing left the tent quietly. His figure flashed and like a shadow, he drifted past the patrolling soldiers and swept into the distance without alerting anyone. Whoosh! Tang Jing stopped in front of a big tree. Two figures immediately flashed out from behind the big tree and called out in a low voice, "Lord Envoy, you're back?" These two people were the Witch clan elder and Yi Yuan. Back then, when Tang Jing sent Yi Yuan back to the Witch clan, he had made preparations beforehand. The people of the Witch clan must have discovered the whereabouts of this archaeological team and discovered that he was among them, which was why they took advantage of the night to come and see him. Under the moonlight, the elder looked at Tang Jing excitedly and wanted to kowtow to him, but was stopped by Tang Jing. "Elder, there's no need to do this. How are the preparations for the things I told you to prepare?" This time, no matter what, he could not let this group of people reach the Witch clan's base camp. Otherwise, the Witch clan would really be exposed. "Lord Envoy, don't worry. I've already prepared a huge illusion array. These people will definitely not be able to get close to our tribe," the elder vowed. Tang Jing nodded in satisfaction. "Elder, thank you for your hard work. Are our clansmen all right?" "The clansmen are all fine, but the family misses Lord Envoy. Furthermore, Yuan came back and told us about the outside world. I didn't expect the outside world to have already become like this." The elder sighed. "This time I will bring another group of clansmen to leave and adapt to life outside. In the future, our Witch clan will walk out of this mountain." This was a countermeasure that Tang Jing had thought of earlier. It was impossible for the Witch clan to live in seclusion here forever. This was a power with limitless potential, and he would face an even greater crisis in the future. He had to have this power that he could trust in his hands. "We have been waiting for that day for a long time. Our Witch clan has been trapped here for who knows how many years. This time, thanks to Lord Envoy, we were able to walk out." Before he could finish his words, a gunshot broke the silence of the night. Chapter 392. In the quiet night, this gunshot was exceptionally sudden, causing people's nerves to jump. Tang Jing immediately turned his head and looked in the direction of the camp. He exclaimed in a low voice, "Is the Witch tribe going to attack tonight?" The elder and Yi Yuan were at a loss. "No, without Lord Envoy's orders we will not move. How many single nests are there?" "Oh no, something must have happened." Tang Jing could already hear the commotion. "Don't come near. I'll go and see what's going on first." Tang Jing rushed towards the camp in a flash. From afar he could see that the camp was lit up with dazzling lights. There was a hubbub of voices and many screams. Why is there a pack of wolves here?" Dozens of tall and ferocious hungry wolves surrounded this group of people with their big round eyes. There was a wolf corpse on the ground. It was obviously killed by the shot just now. Tang Jing heaved a sigh of relief. These wild wolves were just ordinary beasts and not demonic beasts, so they were not a big problem. He quietly appeared behind the wild wolves, and the people in the camp happened to see this scene. They heard Xuanhuan shout in panic, "Tang Jing, be careful. These wild wolves are very fierce. Hurry up and hide." Although he had good intentions, his loud roar made many of the wolves notice the human behind them. They bared their teeth, revealing their long fangs. Seeing this, everyone turned pale with fright. This time, Tang Jing was in trouble, and Lu Ming revealed a smug expression. "Tang Jing, you brat, you're finished this time." However, Tang Jing walked straight to the camp as if nothing had happened. It was as if he did not care about the surrounding wolves at all. Brr. Suddenly, a wild wolf pounced at Tang Jing, its sharp claws and fangs attacking Tang Jing at the same time. Screams rang out from the crowd. Many people subconsciously closed their eyes, unable to bear to see such a bloody scene. However, Lu Ming's eyes were wide open as if he had been injected with chicken blood. He wanted to see with his own eyes the scene of Tang Jing being torn apart by the wild wolves. However, it was obvious that he could not do as he wished. A white shadow streaked across the night sky and crashed into the wild wolf. The wild wolf howled as it was sent flying. "It's that little bastard again." Lu Ming immediately recognized the culprit. Wasn't it the Xiaobai that bumped into him yesterday? This little bastard is actually not afraid of wolves, and with such great strength, what breed of dog is it? Quite a few people saw this miraculous scene, only to see Little White return to Tang Jing's shoulder, flaunting its might at the pack of wolves. The pack of wolves were enraged. With a howl, all the wolves rushed towards Tang Jing. Tang Jing continued to walk towards the camp as if he was taking a stroll in the park. A white figure flashed as Little White shuttled through the pack of wolves, completely blocking all the beasts, preventing them from getting close to Tang Jing. Is this still a puppy? It's even more ferocious than the wild wolves. Many people were shocked as they stared blankly at this scene. In an instant, dozens of wild wolves were sent flying. To deal with these ordinary wild beasts, Xiaobai did not need to spit fire, nor did he need to show his extraordinary momentum to scare them off. Instead, he simply repelled these enemies without any fancy tricks. Tang Jing walked safely into the camp under everyone's watchful eyes. Then he called out, "Xiaobai, come back." With a whoosh, Xiaobai immediately appeared on his shoulder again, pouting unwillingly as if it had not played enough. What is it?" Lu Ming asked, dumbfounded. "My pet," Tang Jing said lightly, then looked at everyone and said, "What's going on?" "We were attacked by wild wolves when we were sleeping. These bastards are really cunning. They even knew to sneak up on us in the dark. If it weren't for the patrols, we would have been wiped out," Xuanhuan said happily. "Then what should we do now?" Tang Jing asked. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in unison. Lu Ming's face reddened. What could he do? Although there were many people on his side, the only ones who could really fight were the 20 or so soldiers. Facing such a large pack of wolves, they would not be able to gain much advantage. "Tang Jing, isn't that puppy of yours very powerful? Let it fight with the wild wolves and we'll be fine." Lu Ming thought of a plan and said. Tang Jing rolled his eyes. "You really have a good idea. You actually want to use Xiaobai. Xiaobai is not as powerful as you say. Aren't you the team leader? You should think of a way to deal with it yourself. Isn't the safety of all of our lives in your hands?" Tang Jing said coldly. Since Lu Ming was going against him, he would not help him out of kindness. Anyway, there were so many wild wolves. In fact, with him around, they could not hurt them at all. Lu Ming was checkmated. Anger flashed across his face. "Tang Jing, for everyone's safety, are you still going to be so selfish?" "I'm selfish? When have I been selfish? You're the team leader. Shouldn't you be thinking about everyone's safety?" Tang Jing retorted immediately. "You." Lu Ming was speechless. Seeing this, Xuanhuan became the peacemaker. "Team leader Lu, we have so many armed soldiers. The wild wolves won't stand a chance." "Really?" Lu Ming asked anxiously. Xuanhuan had seen many birds and beasts when he was an archaeologist. Of course, he knew a thing or two about wolves. Therefore, he was not afraid. The wolves had been intimidated by Xiaobai just now. They would not attack for a while. In fact, there was not much danger tonight. Xuanhuan went into his tent without looking back. Tang Jing followed closely behind and went into his bed. The other archaeologists with rich experience did not understand the key point. Seeing Xuanhuan so carefree and fearless, they were much younger than him. Therefore, the archaeologists went back into their tents. Lu Ming stood there in a daze. He looked at the ferocious wolves that looked like they would charge at them at any time. His lips were dry and he was trembling. "Team leader Lu, what should we do?" asked the soldier. Lu Ming hesitated for a long time and said, "You're asking me what to do? What are you doing? You're here to protect us. Listen, don't let any wild wolves come near." Then he turned around and went back to his tent. Early in the morning, everyone woke up one after another. Finally, they saw Lu Ming with dark circles under his eyes. It was obvious that he did not sleep at all last night. On the other hand, the archaeologists were in high spirits. "Let's move on. Ignore the wolves," Xuanhuan ordered resolutely. Lu Ming was at his wits' end. He could only agree dejectedly. The wolves had been guarding them for the whole night. They were still ferocious and looked like they would charge at them at any time. Everyone packed their luggage and moved on. Perhaps it was because the wolves were following them, their speed was much faster. In half a day they had climbed over a few mountains. The wolves were persistent. During this time the wolves launched an attack. Under the sound of firecrackers, the wolves' attack was repelled. They could only stay far away. Obviously, the beasts were not willing to let their prey go so easily. However, there was nothing they could do. Suddenly, the wolf pack let out a howl and quickly retreated. The crowd immediately cheered, thinking that the wolf pack had finally given up. However, Tang Zheng's heart skipped a beat. He looked into the distance and immediately shouted, "Miasma, the miasma is coming." Whoosh! A gust of wind blew and a miasma came with the wind. Everyone hurriedly put on their gas masks, but two people didn't have time to put on their masks. After breathing in a mouthful of miasma, they immediately fell to the ground and didn't get up. Ah! The crowd immediately screamed in horror. They had walked for a whole day yesterday and did not see the miasma at all. Today they encountered it after walking for only half a day. Xuanhuan's face darkened. He was still wondering why they did not encounter the miasma yesterday. Today they encountered it unexpectedly. Moreover, the miasma was moving so fast that it caught them off guard. Seeing that someone had fallen, Xuanhuan quickly rushed over to help one of them up. Tang Jing reacted quickly and helped another person up. "Let's go, let's get out of this area. Our masks won't last long," Xuanhuan shouted. "Let's go." The crowd immediately moved. They rushed forward quickly, hoping to get out of this miasma area. Lu Ming felt as if the Grim Reaper had arrived. His legs turned to jelly and he could not walk. Two soldiers carried him forward. "Professor Qi, let me do it." Tang Jing took the team members from Xuanhuan and supported them on both sides. "I'm strong. I can carry two people." Professor Qi looked at Tang Jing with gratification. He then glanced at Lu Ming, who was being carried away by the soldiers. His eyes flashed with contempt. The group of people staggered forward. Many of them had rich archaeological experience, but it was obviously their first time in the 100,000 Hills. They finally saw the ruins of the 100,000 Hills and realized that the rumors were true. This was not a place with good feng shui. As they ran, many people had to abandon the heavy equipment they had brought with them. However, the road seemed to have no end. The miasma was still everywhere. It was as if the entire world was shrouded in miasma. Tang Jing was shocked. He had encountered miasma before, but it was obvious that he had not encountered such a wide range of miasma. They had been walking for hours, but they still could not get out of the miasma area. If this situation continued, it would not be good. "Oh no, the compass is broken. The GPS is not working." Suddenly, someone shouted and pointed at the instrument in his hand. Everyone was shocked. Without these two things they would be lost. The 100,000 Hills was not like the outside world. There was no way to find a way out. Getting lost meant death. Moreover, without these instruments they would not be able to find the stone statues. Many people's mood had hit rock bottom. They did not expect to be in such a bad situation after only one day. Many people subconsciously looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming was finally able to walk. Although his expression couldn't be seen through the gas mask, it could be seen from his appearance that he was also out of his wits. If the leader of the archaeological team was like this, there was no hope for them this time. "My gas mask is running out of air." Suddenly, someone shouted in panic. Chapter 393. There was no air in the gas mask, which meant that they had to inhale the miasma. After this cry, similar cries could be heard one after the other. Everything went wrong. The atmosphere suddenly became extremely oppressive, as if the god of death was about to descend. "What should we do? There's no end to the miasma." Someone shouted in panic. Lu Ming could not do anything. He stared blankly at the crowd. Even the experienced Xuanhuan was helpless. They did not expect the miasma to be so boundless. Moreover, after losing their way they were like headless flies. It was very likely that they would go around in circles, let alone get out of this area. Tang Jing felt the breath of the two people he was supporting getting weaker and weaker. His heart sank. The miasma he had encountered before did not have such a large radiation area. He had really miscalculated this time. Although he did not want these people to discover the witch tribe's tribe, he could not watch these people die. So he quickly put the two people he was supporting on the ground. When the others saw this, they all stopped. Lu Ming, who was anxious, was furious. He roared, "Tang Jing, why did you stop? Do you want to get everyone killed?" "They're dying," Tang Jing said calmly. Lu Ming's body stiffened. He gritted his teeth and said, "No, Delta 4, leave them here. We have to get out of here. Hurry up, don't delay." After saying that, he turned around and rushed forward. Everyone looked at him in disbelief. They did not expect him to abandon his teammates. They looked at each other, not knowing what to do. "I'm going to stay and save them," Tang Jing said firmly. Everyone was moved. However, in their opinion, there was no saving them after inhaling so much miasma. Many people had lost their lives like this before. "Tang Jing, are you sure?" Xuanhuan asked anxiously. Let's give it a try. Tang Zheng's uncertain tone made the others even more anxious. Someone shouted, "Let's get out of here quickly. Saving our lives is more important. We can't care so much." In an instant, most of the people in the team left. The few people who stayed behind were those who were close to the two wounded people, and those who were also running out of air. The soldiers who were supposed to protect the archaeological team obeyed Lu Ming's orders and were forced to move forward. These few people were isolated. At this moment, everyone was no longer thinking about archaeology, but about saving their lives. Some people even started crying. Xuanhuan did not leave. He looked at Tang Zheng, who was squatting down to treat his team members. His heart was filled with mixed feelings. He thought to himself, I shouldn't have brought him along. I didn't expect this mission to be so dangerous. Professor Qi, what should we do? Asked the others. Without a doubt, Xuanhuan was the backbone of this isolated army. Xuanhuan pursed his lips. His lips were dry, but he couldn't say anything. Suddenly, a scream rang out, scaring the group of people to the point that their faces turned deathly white as they scattered in all directions. What happened? The two team members who had been unconscious woke up, but they were completely exposed to the miasma. Their eyes were wide open and they were gasping for breath. At this moment, the miasma they breathed in did not seem to affect them at all. It was as if they were breathing normal air. What was going on? A big question mark appeared in everyone's minds. They stared at the two men in disbelief. How did they come back from the dead? We're not dead. That's great. The two men cheered loudly. Then they turned to look at Tang Zheng. The two men hadn't completely lost consciousness after inhaling the miasma. They knew that Tang Zheng had been helping them the entire time, and that Tang Zheng had saved them at the very last moment. The two were so moved that tears rolled in their eyes as they simultaneously bowed towards Tang Zheng and gratefully said, Tang Zheng, thank you for saving us. We won't say too many words of gratitude. In the future, if there is anything we can do for you, we will do our best to help you. Hearing this, everyone turned to look at Tang Zheng in unison. Xuanhuan cut to the chase and asked, Tang Zheng, how did you cure them? Tang Zheng produced a porcelain bottle. I have detoxification pills here. Ah, why do you have detoxification pills? This detoxification pill was a secret recipe of the sorcerer tribe. Of course he had it. However, he couldn't tell anyone about it. So he said, I have a friend who is quite skilled in medicine. He gave this to me before. He said that it can cure some poisons. I fed it to them in a moment of desperation. I didn't expect it to work. Everyone cheered. They wanted to jump up and down. This was really a silver lining. With this pill, the miasma was no longer a threat. How many detoxification pills do you have? Xuanhuan asked in surprise. About 10. Tang Zheng said. He didn't prepare many in the first place. However, there were only 10 people left, so it was enough. Everyone thought that those who ran away just now probably didn't expect that they would get the detoxification pills. This was really fate. A single thought had led to such a big change. However, no one blamed Tang Zheng for not taking it out earlier. He didn't know that it could cure the miasma. Besides, if he had taken it out earlier, it wouldn't have been enough for 40 people. Now, it had benefited everyone. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng with a different gaze, and they all revealed looks of gratitude. After taking off their gas masks and taking the detoxification pills, everyone felt as if they had been reborn. Let's go catch up with the rest of the group. There are still a few detoxification pills left. We can save a few more people, Xuanhuan said eagerly. However, they couldn't see far in the miasma. Those people had left for a while and they were nowhere to be found. After searching for a long time, they still couldn't find any trace of them. They couldn't help but feel helpless. Moreover, the miasma was boundless and there was no direction to follow. The key was how to get out of this area. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng subconsciously. Obviously, after the detoxification pills, Tang Zheng's status in their hearts had risen. Tang Zheng, which direction do you think we should go? Xuanhuan asked. He had pointed in the wrong direction just now, so he put his hope on Tang Zheng. Before Tang Zheng could answer, Xiaobai jumped down from Tang Zheng's shoulder. It pointed in a direction with its paw and squeaked. Tang Zheng's heart skipped a beat. Xiaobai was the holy beast of the sorcerer tribe. It had many miraculous abilities. Maybe it could really lead everyone out of this area. Let's follow Xiaobai, Tang Zheng said. Everyone looked at Xiaobai in surprise. Seeing that everyone was looking at it, Xiaobai raised its little head proudly. It can lead us out of here? Some people couldn't believe it. Xiaobai was just a puppy in everyone's eyes. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, it wasn't affected by the miasma at all. That's right. Everyone only paid attention to people and ignored this little guy. The miasma didn't affect it at all. Everyone murmured in their hearts. They looked at Xiaobai in disbelief. They couldn't help but believe it a little. Moreover, they had no choice but to give it a try. Xiaobai led the way and everyone moved forward quickly. After a while they came to the edge of a swamp. Looking at the swamp that swallowed people, everyone looked at each other in confusion. There was no way out. Xiaobai pointed at the opposite side of the swamp and gestured. Tang Jing understood it and said, "We'll be safe after we cross the swamp." Everyone suddenly realized that the swamp was the way out. They had passed by the swamp just now, but no one had suggested crossing it. "The inflatable boat isn't with us. They took it away." A loud shout made everyone's mood drop. The archaeological team had expected to cross the swamp, but most of the supplies were carried by the soldiers. The inflatable boat was one of them. However, the soldiers were taken away by Lu Ming. They couldn't swim across the swamp, could they? That would be suicide. How are we going to cross without the inflatable boat? Someone looked desperate. They didn't expect to fall into a hopeless situation again when there was hope for survival. "I have an idea. Everyone please wait for a moment." Tang Jing took a machete from someone and immediately found a small tree to chop. With just a few slashes, a small tree was cut down. Soon, dozens of small trees were lying on the ground. "You're going to make a raft?" Xuanhuan asked in surprise when he saw the clue. "Yes, we can cross with a raft." The archaeological team members were all very capable. With the hope of survival, they immediately worked together. Not long after, a sturdy wooden raft was built. "Let's go," Tang Jing said loudly. "Wait." Xuanhuan paused, found a piece of paper and wrote something on it. He then pasted it on a tree trunk. "They're our teammates after all. Although we can't find them for now, if they find this place and discover the clues we left behind, they'll be able to make a raft and leave this area." Xuanhuan was a kind person. Although he was abandoned by those people, he still didn't give up on them. Tang Jing pushed the raft. The raft carried everyone and quickly moved to the other side of the swamp. The swamp was very vast. They couldn't see the end of it. It was like a small sea. Tang Jing's martial arts were profound. Even though he was holding the boat by himself, he was still like an arrow leaving a bow. After an unknown period of time, the miasma gradually dissipated. Immediately cheers thundered, "We are finally out, we are saved." Xuanhuan heaved a sigh of relief. He patted Tang Jing's shoulder and said, "Tang Jing, it's all thanks to you that we're able to escape from death." "Thank you." Tang Jing flashed a bright smile. "We're all team members. This is what I should do." Xuanhuan nodded in relief. He had made the right choice in taking in such a disciple. It was a wise decision to bring him along this time. The raft reached the shore. Everyone quickly went ashore and breathed in the fresh air again. It was wonderful. Everyone's faces were full of smiles. "Tang Jing, how do we go now?" someone asked. Before they knew it, Tang Jing had become the backbone of this team. Xuanhuan looked at Tang Jing curiously. He was obviously asking for his opinion. Bang! Suddenly there was a loud bang. One of the team members fell to the ground. Chapter 394. The sound was so loud that Tang Jing immediately recognized it as a gunshot. How could there be a gunshot? He did not have time to think because one of the team members had fallen to the ground and was bleeding profusely. His head was tilted to the side. "We're under attack. Everyone get down and be careful of the bullets," Tang Jing yelled. In an instant, everyone fell to the ground in a panic. They had just escaped the wolf's den and entered the tiger's den. Most importantly, who else would have a gun in the wilderness other than the archaeological team? Bang bang bang, a barrage of bullets came at them like a storm. Many trees were riddled with holes, but Tang Jing did not lie down. Instead he leaped out like a leopard. Seeing this, Xuanhuan panicked and shouted, "Tang Jing, where are you going? It's dangerous." "Professor Qi, all of you lie down. Don't follow me. I'll take care of these enemies." As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Jing had disappeared without a trace. None of the archaeological team members dared to get up. Someone asked in a daze, "Professor Qi, why is your disciple so powerful?" Tang Jing's face looks familiar. "I think I've seen him somewhere before," someone said suspiciously. In fact, Tang Jing had gained quite a reputation after participating in the martial arts circle championship. However, that was only for those who cared about the martial arts circle championship. Many people still did not know much about him. They did not even know who he was, just like these archaeological professionals. "He's the champion of this martial arts circle championship," Xuanhuan explained. "Ah, it's him. I was wondering why he looked so familiar. I've seen his picture on the internet before," someone exclaimed. I heard that he's very good at martial arts. With him around we'll be much safer. Is he that good? Someone asked in confusion. Of course he's good. As a result, everyone chattered endlessly about Tang Zheng. The bullets had already stopped, but no one got up. No one could predict where a bullet would come from. Tang Zheng was like a spirit in the woods. He was as fast as lightning, making it impossible for the enemies to aim at him, let alone hit him. Tang Zheng finally discovered the enemy a few hundred meters away. His eyes instantly burned with a raging flame. These people were well armed. At first glance he could tell that they were not easy to deal with. Who are you people? Tang Zheng asked angrily. Kill him. Avenge young Master Long, suddenly someone shouted. Bang, 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 bang. Gunshots rang out, and the bullets shot towards Tang Zheng like a tsunami. The place where he stood turned into a mess. But Tang Zheng had already disappeared. Stop. Where is he? He should be dead by now, right? Everyone was bewildered. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air came from above. Everyone subconsciously raised their heads and saw Tang Zheng descending from the sky. The machete in his hand was suffused with a cold light. Fire. There were no gunshots because Tang Zheng was like a cheetah, rushing into the crowd. He would not give anyone a chance to open fire. He had already figured out the other party's identity. These people were actually sent by the Long family. Long Xuanhuan must have known that Long Tingyu had died in his hands, so he sent these people to take revenge. He was not afraid of these people, but he was worried about Long Xuanhuan. If he was nearby, then he would be in danger. Therefore he had to cut the Gordian knot. Figures flashed and people kept falling to the ground. Tang Zheng did not show mercy and killed them all in one blow. After a while, there was only one leader left in the group of more than 10 people. Tang Zheng took away the other party's pistol and pointed it at his chest. He asked with a murderous look, "Do you have any accomplices?" Tang Zheng, you can't escape. Dianan is the territory of the Long family, you can't escape. Just wait, the patriarch will come and kill you. Is that so? You won't see that day. Bang. He pulled the trigger without hesitation and went back the way he came. He found that the archaeological team was still lying on the ground, looking around nervously. When they saw him coming back they cheered, "Tang Zheng, how is it?" "It's okay, everyone get up." Tang Zheng walked to the team member who was shot and found that the bullet did not hit the internal organs, but only the shoulder. However, blood was still flowing out. If he was not treated, he would die from excessive blood loss. The team doctor is with Lu Ming, how can we save him? Everyone surrounded the injured and did not know what to do. Don't worry, he's fine. Tang Zheng used his true qi to stop the bleeding and used a trace of true qi to protect the other party's heart meridian. The injured person who fainted from the pain finally woke up. Don't move, 2 people come and support him. We have to leave here. Tang Zheng said in a deep voice. Unconsciously, his body emitted a majestic aura, which was irresistible. Qi Shaoan asked curiously, "Who fired the gun just now?" Tang Zheng shook his head. "I don't know, I've already chased them away. Don't worry." Tang Zheng could not say that he had killed those people, otherwise it would cause panic. Who would come all the way to the 100,000 mountains? Qi Shaoan was filled with suspicion. Maybe it's a drug dealer. Isn't the 100,000 mountains close to the border? I've heard that drug trafficking is rampant here. Maybe a drug dealer accidentally entered the 100,000 mountains. Someone suddenly had an idea. Drug dealer? Everyone was stunned. These people were all bloodthirsty and vicious people. They were not to be trifled with. Let's get out of here. Qi Shaoan said nervously, we don't want to wait for them to come back. That would be troublesome. Tang Zheng, we can only count on you to protect us. Yes, Tang Zheng. You're the champion of the martial arts circle competition. You can protect us, right? Everyone looked at Tang Zheng eagerly. Tang Zheng was as clear as a mirror. It seemed that his identity was exposed. He nodded and said, don't worry everyone. I'll do my best. But this mission is dangerous. I think it's best to leave the 100,000 mountains. No, we've already come this far. We can't back out. Besides, we're already lost. It's not that easy to go back. We can only move forward based on our intuition. I've studied it carefully before. I think it's this way. Qi Shaoan pointed in a direction. Tang Zheng's heart skipped a beat. Qi Shaoan was very experienced. The direction he pointed was the direction of the witch tribe. However, they did not give up. Tang Zheng did not mind. After all, the witch tribe was protected by the illusion formation. It was impossible for them to break through it. The group continued to move forward. Tang Zheng walked in front to scout the way. They were already deep in the mountains. There were obviously more ferocious beasts, but they were all defeated by Tang Zheng. When night fell, Tang Zheng even killed a wild boar for everyone's dinner. Everyone set up their tents and rested. Tang Zheng stayed by the campfire. Xiao Bai rested on his shoulder. The night was full of shadows. It was as if there were many ferocious beasts watching their team in the dark. Tang Zheng closed his eyes to rest. He was not affected at all. Suddenly Xuanhuan walked to him and sat down. He said slowly, "Tang Zheng, you've been in the 100,000 mountains for 2 days. How do you feel?" "It's okay. The scenery here is different from the city." "It's a different experience," Tang Zheng said calmly. Xuanhuan smiled and said, "You think it's easy. But this journey is so dangerous. This is something I didn't expect. To be honest, I don't know if we'll be able to make it out alive." "Ah, Professor Qi, don't be so pessimistic. If we can come in, we can definitely get out." Xuanhuan shook his head and said, "Don't be so optimistic. Let me tell you, all the instruments are malfunctioning. I'm just following my gut. I'm not sure if I can find the ancient site. But this is a big discovery in the archaeology world. No matter how difficult it is, I'll try." Tang Zheng could understand Xuanhuan's feelings. However, this was related to the witch tribe's order. He could not compromise. He could only apologize in his heart. Of course, he would not let these people die here. When the time came, he would bring them out of the 100,000 mountains. "Tang Zheng, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse for me to bring you here. You won't blame me, right?" Xuanhuan asked. He felt a little guilty. Tang Zheng said casually, "Professor Qi, I should thank you for giving me this opportunity. Why would I blame you?" "I'm glad you don't blame me. You should rest early." Xuanhuan stood up. "It's okay. I'll rest here tonight in case the beasts come. Thank you for your hard work." The night was uneventful. At dawn, everyone got up and washed up. They knew that according to the plan, they were not far from their destination. As long as they were in the right direction, they would arrive at their destination in a little while. While everyone was washing up, a sudden rush of footsteps came from afar. Everyone's nerves immediately tensed. "Someone's coming. Everyone be careful." "Hide." Tang Zheng did not know who was coming and hurriedly shouted. Immediately, everyone looked for a place to hide. They craned their necks and looked in the direction of the footsteps. After a while, a small group of people came over. "Ah, it's Lu Ming and the others." The crowd let out a cry of alarm and ran out one after another. The people who came were indeed Lu Ming and the others. However, these people were in a very sorry state and looked exhausted. More importantly, there were only 10 people left in the original team of 30 people. When these people saw Tang Zheng and the others, they all had a look of disbelief. They rushed over and the others quickly went up to help those who were staggering. "You're finally here. Where are the others? Why are there only a few of you?" Professor Qi supported Lu Ming and asked with concern. Lu Ming's face was a little pale. He did not answer immediately. Instead, he glanced at the crowd and found that the other party was not missing people. He could not help but be surprised. "Why, the others are all dead." Someone sat on the ground and burst into tears. "What, they're all dead?" Xuanhuan was shocked. 20 people had died. That was a great loss. "If we didn't find the note you left behind, we wouldn't have been able to walk out. We would all have died there," someone else said. Lu Ming's expression gradually turned cold. He looked at the crowd and asked, "How come none of you are dead? How did you do it?" Author's digression. There was a chapter that was not shown because of the website. I'll ask the editor to fix it tomorrow. Chapter 395. What do you mean by that? Is it our fault that we didn't lose any members? Someone retorted in dissatisfaction. Obviously, everyone had a lot of complaints about Lu Ming abandoning his teammates and running away. They were all in the wrong. Hearing this, Lu Ming said, "We sacrificed so much to escape, but you are safe and sound. And the two of you, you were clearly poisoned by the miasma at that time and were unconscious. Why are you safe and sound now? You'll only be happy if we die? That's ridiculous." The two men were furious and glared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming was unmoved. "Anyway, I need an explanation. Explain to your mother. How dare you insult your superior? Do you not want your job anymore? If you don't want it, get out." Lu Ming said arrogantly. "It's none of my business. Who do you think you are? What bullsh** T team leader? This is the first time I've seen a team leader who only knows how to run for his life. Besides, your words don't count. Don't think that I'm afraid of you just because you're sent here by the higher-ups. Professor Qi is the real expert in archaeology. He's the one who calls the shots here." Lu Ming turned to Xuanhuan and said, "Professor Qi, what do you think we should do with this lawless person?" Xuanhuan was also unhappy with Lu Ming. He said flatly, "We sacrificed a lot to get out of that miasma area. No one has the right to tell us what to do." You. Lu Ming was speechless when he saw Xuanhuan defending the man. Tang Jing had been watching from the sidelines. Lu Ming was really bureaucratic. He really thought he was a big shot. Lu Ming's chest heaved and he took a few deep breaths to suppress his anger. He said, "We found a lot of bodies on our way here. Do you know who did it?" Tang Jing's heart tensed up. It seemed that they had met the group of people from the Long family. Before he could reply, someone had already said, "It must be the drug dealers. We were attacked by the drug dealers earlier and some of them were injured." Luckily Tang Jing chased them away. Drug dealers? Why are there drug dealers here? Besides, the drug dealers are so powerful. How could they die for no reason? Lu Ming stared at Tang Jing. What ability does he have to chase away the vicious drug dealers? Don't look down on him. Tang Jing is the champion of the martial arts conference. Don't you think he's capable? Don't be all talk and no action. Besides, this place is bordered by neighboring countries. It has always been a heavily trafficked area. What's so strange about drug dealers? Tang Jing's team had been completely united as one. Lu Ming alone wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. The champion of the martial arts tournament? Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Soon after, Lu Ming laughed disdainfully, as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. What a joke. You guys were actually fooled by his flowery words. What champion? You're just bragging about yourself. Everyone wanted to explain further, but Tang Jing stopped them with his eyes and said, "Is there a need to flaunt your tongue here? Don't tell me we're not in a hurry? We've been on the road all night and haven't rested yet. What's the hurry?" Lu Ming said unhappily. "Then let them rest," Xuanhuan said. Tang Jing didn't say anything else. Clap, clap, clap. Suddenly, a crisp sound of applause rang out. Everyone was shocked and immediately looked towards the direction of the sound. They saw 3 people walking out of the forest. "You guys continue. The show isn't over yet. Who are you?" Lu Ming immediately stood up and asked arrogantly. Tang Jing looked at the 3 people. His nerves immediately tensed up. He cursed. How did they find him so quickly? These 3 people were Martial and the 2 elders. The 3 of them looked rather unfriendly. Martial arrogantly said, "You don't have the qualifications to talk to me. Get lost." Lu Ming flew into a rage and said, "What did you say? Could it be that you're a drug dealer?" As soon as his voice fell, several soldiers immediately pulled out their guns and aimed at the 3 people. They had already become frightened birds. In this mountain, any unfamiliar face could mean danger. Martial and the other 2 acted as if they didn't see anything. Martial disdainfully said, "You think you can show off with just these few fire sticks? Don't move. Otherwise I'll let you have a taste of the bullets." Lu Ming also had a pistol in his hand. He aimed it at the 3 people. "If you say don't move, then don't move? You can try shooting." Martial fearlessly walked over. Bang. Lu Ming finally couldn't endure this powerful aura. He pulled the trigger. The bullet whistled out but Martial didn't move at all. She didn't dodge but the bullet flew past her. It didn't hurt her at all. Lu Ming's marksmanship was just too bad. After running out of bullets, Lu Ming was still pulling the trigger. Martial had already walked in front of him. Seeing this, the other gunman also wanted to pull the trigger. However, a figure flashed and the 4th elder moved. Everyone only felt a blur in front of their eyes as all the guns were taken away by the 4th elder. They were twisted together like fried dough twists. Everyone was dumbstruck. This strength was just too terrifying. What are you doing? Lu Ming's legs trembled. He didn't expect that after escaping from death, he would meet such a group of people with such terrifying strength. Scram to the side. I'm not in the mood to talk to you, Martial coldly said. Lu Ming felt as if he had been pardoned. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. His body stiffly moved away. Even his breathing was not smooth. Of course, Martial had no interest in entangling with this kind of person. Her target was Tang Jing. Her gaze locked onto Tang Jing. However, she saw that the other party's expression was normal. She couldn't help but shiver and said, "Tang Jing, you made us look for you so hard." Tang Jing said without batting an eyelid, "What do you want to do?" "Of course we want to kill you." The 1st elder strode over and said with a murderous aura, "Kill." Everyone was shocked. They all looked at Tang Jing. So these 3 people were here for him. Moreover, they wanted to kill him. Xuanhuan suddenly stepped forward and said, "Do you dare to kill someone in broad daylight? This is a crime. Do you know that?" "Ah, it's a crime. Who dares to say anything when my martial organization does things? The first elder said disdainfully, if you don't want to die then scram. The one we want to kill is Tang Zheng. It has nothing to do with anyone else. However, if you are his accomplices, then we don't mind killing you all together. No, we are not his accomplices. The one you want to deal with is Tang Zheng. It has nothing to do with us. We will leave immediately. We definitely won't delay you. Lu Ming said hurriedly. He was frightened by the other party's actions. If they were not even afraid of guns, then wouldn't it be easy to deal with them? Shut up. Greedy for life and afraid of death. Xuanhuan roared angrily. The one they are looking for is Tang Zheng, not us, so why should we accompany him to die? Moreover, I don't think this little brat is a good person, so he deserves to die. Lu Ming indignantly said. What are you talking about? Our lives were saved by Tang Zheng. You have no right to criticize him. Many people said with righteous indignation. You don't want to leave? Then you can die with him. Marshall said calmly. If you don't leave then I will. I won't die with him. Lu Ming said hurriedly and turned to leave. Tang Zheng, we will fight with them. If they want to kill you they will have to break my old bones. Xuanhuan stepped forward bravely and said fearlessly. Looking at everyone's sincere eyes, Tang Zheng smiled and said, thank you for everyone's good intentions, but this is my personal matter, so there is no need for everyone to get involved. It won't be that easy for these people to kill me. Tang Zheng, they have the advantage in numbers. We will help you. If we work together, I don't believe we can't beat them. Someone suggested. Don't try to persuade me. You have to believe in me. I will find you. Let's go. Tang Zheng persuaded. No, we won't go. If we die together. In that case there is no need to go. Let's die with him. Suddenly the fourth elder roared and went deep into the lightning. He directly grabbed the neck of the person next to him. Stop. Tang Zheng shouted to stop him, his body moved and rushed forward. Everyone hurry up and leave, believe me, I will definitely not die. Professor Chi, hurry up and take them away, otherwise if you stay here, you will distract me. Bang. Tang Zheng was one step ahead and saved the team member from the fourth elder's hand. The team member's face was pale. You came at the right time. Kid, today is the day you die. The fourth elder shouted disdainfully. He reached out his hand and grabbed Tang Zheng's head with the dragon claw. Tang Zheng did not dodge. He counterattacked with the heaven-gathering hand. The two men separated as soon as they touched each other. However, they quickly fought again. It was hard to tell who had the upper hand. The archaeological team's breathing uncontrollably became hurried. Only now did they understand that Tang Zheng's skills were actually so terrifying. Everyone, let's go. Don't waste any more time. Professor Chi, I beg you. Please take everyone away. Seeing that everyone was still indifferent, Tang Zheng could not help but be extremely anxious, and hurriedly advised. Everyone, let's go. We can't be Tang Zheng's burden. Xuanhuan hesitated for a moment. After weighing the pros and cons, he said resolutely. Tang Zheng, you have to be careful. It's too late for you to leave now. The first elder suddenly spoke. He blocked the archaeological team's path like a ghost. Elder, these are just ordinary people. There's no need to kill innocent people. Wu advised. The great elder remained unmoved. Being together with Tang Zheng is the same as being a demon. We must catch them all in one go. The first elder charged towards Xuanhuan. Seeing this, Tang Zheng jumped in fright and shouted, no. However, he was too busy fighting with the fourth elder to save Xuanhuan. Whoosh. Suddenly, a white shadow slammed into the first elder's stomach like a flash of lightning. The first elder staggered backward and fell on his butt. The archaeological team took the opportunity to retreat. They disappeared into the forest in the blink of an eye. The first elder stood up angrily. He finally saw the culprit, Xiaobai. Xiaobai was still baring his teeth at him and squeaking. What the hell is this? The great elder was well aware of the force behind the collision, and he was shocked that it was caused by this little thing. Thus, he couldn't care less about the escaping archaeological team and stared at Little White without blinking. Chapter 396. The great clan elder stared at Xiaobai for a long time, but he was still unable to determine what kind of animal it was. However, when he saw Xiaobai baring its teeth at him, the great clan elder's eyes turned cold, and released a biting cold light. The egg was moved to the wrong place. Little bastard, I'll kill you first. The great clan elder's figure flashed and he rushed towards Xiaobai. In his eyes this was an easy task. Suddenly, a white figure flashed, and Xiaobai disappeared in front of him without any warning. Boom, flames soared into the sky, and attacked the great clan elder from behind. The great clan elder's heart trembled, and he immediately pounced forward, dodging the calamity in a sorry state. However, the clothes on his back had already been burnt beyond recognition, and were charred black. The great clan elder crawled up in a sorry state, and stared at Xiao Bai in shock, only to see it proudly raising its head and pouting. This. What kind of monster is this? Wu Yi stared at Xiao Bai with his mouth agape, while the fourth elder immediately stopped fighting and looked at Xiao Bai in disbelief. Suddenly Wu Yi exclaimed, "Could it be a demonic beasts? Demonic beasts?" The two elders turned pale with fright. Although they had always been hunting martial artists, they had never seen a demonic beast before. Why would Tang Zheng have a demonic beast accompanying him? The three of them were puzzled. Furthermore, this demonic beast looked too harmless, completely unlike the ferocious and terrifying demonic beasts in legends. Tang Zheng waved his hand, and Xiao Bai immediately jumped onto his shoulder. Since the archaeological team had already left, he did not care about exposing his strength. He patted Xiao Bai's head and stared at the enemy without fear. "Brat, we have underestimated you in the past. It seems like you are not a small character. No matter who is behind you, your identity as a cultivator has doomed you to death. Kill." The great clan elder roared and pulled out the treasured sword he carried with him. "Although you are a cultivator and have a demonic beast accompanying you, in the end, your cultivation is too weak. Go and die." Shwa. The sword light blotted out the sky and was incomparably dazzling. This side of the world was instantly submerged by the sword light. Every blade of grass, every object, and even the air seemed to be on the verge of being torn apart by the sword light. Tang Zheng immediately took out the battle soul sword. With a flash of black light, the battle soul flew out from the sword. Its huge body was like a huge monster as it pounced towards the great elder. Swoosh. The sword light flashed, riddling the war spirit's body with thousands of holes. The war spirit roared incessantly, and the temperature between heaven and earth seemed to drop to the freezing point in an instant. What kind of monster is this? The great elder frowned. Ghost. Martial stared blankly at the battle spirit, memories flashing through her mind. Scenes of her intense battle with a ghost general. The dense qi on the ghost general's body was extremely similar to the battle spirit's aura, leaving a deep impression on her. Ah! Suddenly Martial let out a miserable cry. He hugged his head and squatted on the ground. It was as if something had drilled into his head. It was extremely painful. Scenes flashed through her mind one after another, finally interweaving into a complete memory. It was incomparably clear. "Martial, what happened to you?" the fourth elder quickly asked with concern. Martial suddenly raised his head, killing intent bursting out, his gaze locked onto Tang Zheng. He was exceptionally complicated as he muttered to himself, "So it was him. Back then I went to the ordinary balance for him. He was that cultivator, but I was heavily injured and inexplicably lost that memory." The aura of the battle spirit was no different from the aura of the ghost general, so it triggered the deepest memories in her mind, allowing her to finally recover her memories. However, all of this clearly came too late. Tang Zheng has a great relationship with the martial sect. The sect master once told me that I must bring him back to the martial sect. This time I must capture him alive. Martial's expression gradually turned cold. "Martial, what happened to you just now?" the fourth elder asked. "Fourth elder, I have finally recovered my memories. Tang Zheng is the main culprit who caused me to lose my memories in the ordinary balance." Martial said. "What, it's him?" The fourth elder flew into a rage. The martial sect had suffered a great loss in the ordinary balance. Moreover, it was inexplicable and they did not find the person behind the scenes. So all of this was caused by Tang Zheng. It was truly a small world. Tang Zheng did not have the heart to pay attention to Martial because although he had the help of the battle spirit, the great elder of the martial sect was actually a great master. After fighting for a while, Tang Zheng knew that he was not his opponent. "Brat, you are dead for sure. Do you think that with a ghost and a demonic beast you are my opponent? You are looking down on my martial sect too much," the great elder said angrily. With a slash, Tang Zheng raised the battle spirit to block but was forced back a few steps by the huge force. Before he could stabilize himself, the great elder's sword was already in front of him. Boom! The battle spirit hurriedly stood in front of Tang Zheng to protect him. One of his arms was immediately cut off and turned into strands of black qi. The battle spirit roared non-stop and rushed forward again. Shwa shwa. With another 2 slashes, the battle spirit's other arm and leg flew up. However, the battle spirit still relied on one leg to stand proudly. It opened its mouth and bit towards the great elder. "You don't know the difference between life and death. Then I will let your soul scatter." The great elder also understood the battle spirit's strength. The gap between him and the battle spirit was too large, so he was not afraid. He slashed out again, determined to cut off the battle spirit's head. Tang Zheng was overwhelmed with shock and hurriedly said, "Battle spirit, come back." So, the battle spirit disappeared and was absorbed by the battle spirit. Tang Zheng waved the battle spirit and used the heaven-flying immortal sword technique to finally block the killing blow. His arm trembled and the battle spirit seemed to fly out of his hand. With a thought, the battle spirit disappeared and was kept in the sumaru pouch. "Haha brat, your sword technique is very powerful, but your power is too weak. You want to fight with me?" Wishful thinking. The great elder said in disdain. Tang Zheng snorted. With a wave of his finger, he finally took out the heaven-shocking bow. The three of them were dazzled by Tang Zheng's magical transformation of weapons. Tang Zheng's fingers pulled on the bowstring, and the great elder laughed disdainfully. "Haha, a bow without an arrow, do you think it still has any lethality?" Tang Zheng did not say anything, he only silently pulled on the bowstring, and the heaven-shocking bow turned into a full moon. Wu suddenly remembered the situation in the valley. This was the divine bow that did not use any arrows. Back then the demon god had suffered a loss from this divine bow. "Great elder, be careful. This is a divine bow. You don't need any arrows to kill enemies." Wu immediately reminded loudly. But Tang Zheng's movements were even faster than her words. Just as she opened her mouth, Tang Zheng had already released his fingers. The bowstring trembled and the air was compressed to the extreme. Then it began to fluctuate violently as if it was boiling. The great clan elder's face changed. He instantly realized that something was wrong. He immediately roared, held his sword with both hands and fiercely slashed forward. Boom! With a loud sound, smoke and dust rose in all directions. The great clan elder was completely wrapped up in smoke and dust, making it impossible to see his situation clearly. At this moment, Wu had just finished speaking, and both she and the fourth elder looked at this scene at the same time, dumbstruck. "Great clan elder!" The fourth elder cried out in alarm and immediately rushed forward. Wu stared at Tang Zheng with her mouth agape. The feeling this arrow gave her was even more terrifying than the arrow in the valley back then, a kind of trembling that came from her soul. She knew very well that she had no way of retaliating against this arrow. Tang Zheng did not have the time to pay attention to him. He turned around and ran, turning into a bolt of lightning. He rushed into the forest. "Brat, don't run." A thunderous roar sounded out, the smoke and dust dissipated, and the great clan elder's figure appeared once again. However, at this moment he was in a sorry state. His clothes were tattered, his face and body were covered in dust, there was a large pit under his feet, and the treasured sword in his hand had been broken into two. "Great clan elder, are you all right?" The fourth elder asked anxiously. "I won't die. Chase, I must catch up to that brat. I will tear him into 10,000 pieces." The great clan elder jumped out of the pit, looked at the treasured sword in his hand with a pained expression, and chased after him. The fourth elder and Martial also quickly chased after him. A moment later, 4 people appeared beside the big pit. It was the demon god Louis, Wales and Sawada Ichiro. The demon god observed the big pit for a while and said, "Tang Zheng was here just now. It seems like an intense battle just happened. Who is the other side?" Sawada Ichiro asked curiously. "People from the martial sect." Louis laughed unfathomably. "As far as I know, the people from the martial sect have already entered the 10,000 huge mountains." Martial sect, this time we'll make sure they don't return," the demon god said with killing intent. "Let's go and catch up to them." Tang Zheng sprinted, and the trees on both sides quickly disappeared behind him. Although he did not hear any movements behind him, there was no doubt that the martial sect's pursuers were not far behind him. "Lord Envoy." Suddenly a group of people rushed out from the side. It was Yi Yuan and a few Witch Clan clansmen. "Lord Envoy, we finally found you. Why are you here?" Tang Zheng stopped in his tracks. "Lord Envoy, ever since you fell into the miasma, we lost track of you and have been searching for you. The heavens have opened their eyes and finally allowed us to find you," Yi Yuan said excitedly. "I'm fine. It's not good to stay here for long. Hurry up and leave," Tang Zheng said. "Lord Envoy, is there an enemy?" Yi Yuan immediately saw through the clues and asked. "Yes, a very powerful enemy. Brat, let's see where you can run to." A furious roar suddenly sounded out. A figure flashed and the 3 people from the martial sect quickly caught up. Tang Zheng sighed regretfully. The people from the martial sect were really powerful. He had only delayed for a while, but the other party had already caught up. The key was that the people from the Witch Clan had also been exposed. Seeing the Witch Clan, the 3 of them stopped in their tracks and looked at them in disbelief. They asked, who are these people? Cultivator. Wu cried out in alarm. So many cultivators? The two elders were very surprised. They had been hunting cultivators all day, and the number of cultivators they had seen had decreased over the years. They never thought that so many would suddenly appear. The two elders' eyes glowed red, as if they were hunters who had seen their prey. They said excitedly, "The heavens are helping me. Today I will catch them all in one fell swoop." Chapter 397. Yuan looked at the three of them curiously and asked, "Lord Envoy, who are these people?" "Someone from the martial sect." "Egg TT is wrong." Martial sect. Yuan already knew what the martial sect was doing, and could not help but fly into a rage. "Are they the ones who hunted us cultivators? Lord Envoy, we cannot let them leave." "Lord Envoy?" The three of them looked at Tang Jing in astonishment, wondering what kind of position this so-called Lord Envoy had, but seeing the other party protecting Tang Jing so much, it meant that his identity was not simple. The three of them were not afraid. Instead, it was as if they had discovered a new continent. They thought that they had dug out Tang Jing's background. "The harvest from this trip to southern Yunnan is really too great. I suspect that they have an organization and must be uprooted," the great elder said with killing intent. "Arrogant, you still dare to be so arrogant in the 10,000 huge mountains." Yuan was furious, and before he finished speaking, he rushed out like a cannonball. Boom. The great clan elder retaliated, causing Yuan's skin to glow with a golden light. He quickly retreated, broke a tree trunk and stopped. "So powerful?" Yuan stared at his fist and said in surprise. You overestimate yourself. Let's see how you guys escape this time. Kill, don't use your hands, show mercy." With the great clan elder's order, the fourth elder and martial elder attacked at the same time. "Charge!" Yuan roared and rushed forward with the other clansmen. Tang Jing secretly sighed. This time, there was no chance for him to escape, so he unceremoniously joined the battle. Without a doubt, the average fighting strength of the three martial sects was definitely higher than that of the Witch Clan S, but there were more than 10 Witch Clan S, so they had the advantage in numbers. Furthermore, they lived in the forest all year round, so their use of the terrain and environment could be said to be perfect. In addition, after the Witch tribesmen learned the chaotic golden body technique, their skin was rough and their flesh was thick, and their resistance to attack soared. When the fourth elder's weapon struck Yuan's body, sparks actually exploded, leaving behind marks, but it did not penetrate his skin. Xiao Bai also jumped down from Tang Jing's shoulder and shuttled through the crowd. Every time he saw an opportunity, he would unrestrainedly spit out fire, often catching Wu and the fourth elder off guard. Especially the fourth elder, whose beard and eyebrows were all burned bald by the fire, making him look extremely comical. Tang Jing had previously used the heaven-shocking bow to cause the great clan elder to suffer a loss, but now the great clan elder already knew how powerful the heaven-shocking bow was, so every time Tang Jing pulled the bowstring, he would always be able to cleverly dodge it, causing Tang Jing to be rather impatient. The two sides were in a stalemate for a while. Then a scream of agony rang out. One of the sorcerer tribesmen finally took a hit and fell to the ground, bleeding profusely. Seeing that, Tang Jing shouted out loud, but he was powerless to do anything. He was entangled by the great clan elder and had no time to do anything. "Haha, Tang Jing, I want you to watch them die one by one." The great clan elder laughed sinisterly. Screams rang out one after another. After a long time, the witch tribesmen's decline began to show. Although they had the advantage in numbers, the other party was a true expert. The difference between the two sides was not something that could be made up for by numbers. Tang Jing's eyes were about to spit fire. Seeing that another person was about to be hit, he suddenly turned around and rushed towards that person. Whiz! An invisible arrow shot out and finally saved that person first. However, the great clan elder's eyes were sharp and his hands were fast, slapping his back with his palm. Bang! Tang Jing spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out. While he was in the air, he aimed at Wu and pounced towards her. While Wu was fighting with Yuan, she suddenly felt a gust of wind above her head. Before she could even raise her head to look, she realized that her throat had been grabbed by someone. Stop! Tang Jing did not care about the burning pain on his back, as if his spine was about to break, and shouted loudly. Everyone stopped at the same time. The two elders were shocked. They never thought that Tang Jing had an ulterior motive. His rescue of the witch tribesmen was just a feint. His goal was to capture Wu, and he had succeeded. "If you attack again, I'll kill her," Tang Jing said with killing intent. "No." The great clan elder hurriedly stopped her. Wu was the sect master's disciple. If she died, the sect master would blame them and they would not be able to bear the consequences. "If you don't want her to, then obediently retreat. Brat, you won't be able to escape. Is that so? At most, we'll just fight to the death, but she won't be able to live either. Tang Jing said fearlessly. The two elders looked at each other in dismay and could only retreat. Tang Jing, if you kill me, you will never know the secret of that jade pendant. However, if you follow me back to the martial sect, you will be able to get the answer you want. Wu said calmly. Follow you back to the martial sect? Isn't that walking right into a trap? Don't you want to know the secret of that jade pendant? Tang Jing was silent. His feelings towards the jade pendant that was related to his background were very complicated. He wanted to know the secret behind it, but he was also afraid to know. He was afraid that his background was related to the martial sect. Now that he was a cultivator, he was the enemy of the martial sect. If his background was related to the martial sect, then he would be the one in the cracks. He didn't know what to do. Follow me back to the martial sect. I can guarantee your safety. Wu advised in a low voice. Seeing the two of them muttering to each other, the great clan elder said worriedly, Brat, if you dare to harm a single hair on his head, I can guarantee that all of you will be buried with him. Tang Jing coldly snorted. He was unmoved and said to Yi Yuan, Lead your clansmen and leave first, I will cover the rear. Lord Envoy, you absolutely can't. Yi Yuan shouted. This is an order. Are you going to disobey my orders? Tang Jing said with a gloomy face. I don't dare. Yi Yuan lowered his head, had people help the injured clansmen up, and retreated step by step towards the direction of the witch tribe. Ah, such an intense battle. Fortunately, we haven't arrived too late. It's a good show. Suddenly, a strange laughter sounded out, and a group of people walked out from the dark forest. Everyone looked towards the source of the voice, and their pupils could not help but shrink. Tang Jing was greatly shocked. The archaeological team was among them, but the archaeological team had become captives. Xuanhuan still had a katana on his neck, and the people who kidnapped them were actually the demon god's group. The demon god clapped his hands and said, This time all of you have gathered together. You can save me the trouble of looking for all of you. Demon god. Wu Ji stared at the other party and exclaimed. The two elders widened their eyes and glared at him, saying, You are the demon god. Haha, the two great elders of the martial sect, right? Didn't you want to find cultivators? With so many cultivators in front of you today, let's see how you can kill your way here. The demon god jokingly said, Tang Jing, kill the woman in your hands first, then surrender. Otherwise, I will deal with your companions first. Tang Jing, don't listen to him. Hurry up and run. Xuanhuan shouted with all the strength in his body. Ah, how touching. If you dare to run, try and see if this sharp blade can cut his throat. Woo demon god, I have no grievances with you. Hurry up and let us go. The person you want to kill is Tang Jing, not me. I have nothing to do with him. Lu Ming suddenly burst into tears. This archaeological expedition had been full of twists and turns. If he had known this would happen, he would not have come even if he was beaten to death. Haha, so afraid of death. If you don't want to die, then tell Tang Jing to surrender. Otherwise you will die without a doubt. The demon god laughed. Lu Ming said with a long face, Tang Jing, I have no grievances with you. Why do you want to harm me? I knew I shouldn't have let you join the archaeological team. This time, everyone is dead because of you. Are you satisfied? Shut up, Lu Ming. You are such a coward. It is a disgrace to be associated with you. Xuanhuan shouted angrily. Professor Qi, it's your business if you want to be buried with him. I don't want to die, and neither do the rest of us. Besides, this has nothing to do with us. We're here for archaeology. We're here to find the 4 stone statues. Lu Ming rattled on. He was afraid of the demon god and the others, but he was not afraid of Tang Jing and Xuanhuan. Stone statues? You are here to find the stone statues? Suddenly, the demon god interrupted Lu Ming's chatter. Yes, we are here to find the stone statues. I have photos here. They are in my bag. Then he quickly took off his bag and took out a few photos. These photos were taken by a satellite in outer space. The 4 stone statues were clearer than the rest. The devil god's eyes went wide and he couldn't look away. Eventually he laughed maniacally and said, Ha! The heavens are helping me. The 4 manifestations paragon, who has disappeared for countless years, is actually in the 100,000 mountains. The venerable 4 symbols? Everyone was shocked, especially Tang Jing and the people of the witch tribe. They only knew that the 4 stone statues were the guardians of the witch tribe, but they did not know their real names. As long as I have the venerable 4 symbols, no one in this world can be my opponent. What martial arts grandmaster? They are all useless. The demon god said solemnly. Where exactly are the venerable 4 symbols? The demon god asked anxiously. I don't know, but they are in the Xuanhuan mountains. Ah, you are still useful. You actually told me such useful information. The demon god patted Lu Ming's shoulder and praised him. Lu Ming's face immediately bloomed into a smile. He said flatteringly, Then Lord Demon God, can you let me go? I will let you die a quick death. The demon god said with a smile. Lu Ming's face turned pale as if he had lost his parents. Tang Jing, have you thought about it? After dealing with you, I still need to find the venerable four symbols. Don't waste my time. The demon god said impatiently. Alright, let them go. I'll give up resisting. Tang Jing released Wu and did not kill her. Wu and the demon god were enemies, so of course he would not help the demon god get rid of an enemy. Lord Envoy, you absolutely can't. The witch tribesmen who had already retreated a distance rushed forward again without a care for their own safety and advised in panic. Lord Envoy? When did he become the Lord Envoy? Who are these people? The demon god stared at the witch tribesmen. They're all cultivators. Brat, who are these people? We are the servants of the Lord Envoy. If you want to kill him, kill us first. Yi Yuan stepped forward and said angrily. Haha, this way it will be even more interesting. Tang Jing, not only do you have to surrender, even your servants have to surrender. There is actually a group of cultivators in the Xuanhuan mountains. There must be a huge secret behind this. It really is not a wasted trip. Hurry up, I don't have the patience, surrender immediately or else I will kill them all. Don't kill them, I'll just do it. Tang Jing was in a dilemma. If he did not surrender, the other party's people would die. If he surrendered, then his and the witch tribesmen's lives would be in danger.